It's been a year since one of the most extraordinary good news stories of the decade. I'm referring, of course, to the rescue of 12 young Thai footballers who were saved from a flooded cave in a complex operation involving thousands. The wild boars, as they were known, were trapped in the cave for close to a fortnight before they were found, and it took another 8 days for them all to make it out safely. And now their story is being used as a possible vehicle for teaching children mental strength and well-being. Lessons from the Cave is the brainchild of, among others, the child psychologist Mark Berelowitz from the Royal Free Hospital, and he joins me now. Mark, thanks for joining us. I mean, what made you think of using the Thai cave rescue as this vehicle for improving mental resilience?
Thank you, Mark. There were two things that helped the boys come through this psychologically unscathed. And my friend and colleague, Dr. T from Thailand, has met with them. They're fine. They don't have post-traumatic stress disorder. They don't have any psychological problems at all. They're even willing to go back into caves. So what's helped them? Firstly, society. They were a team. They became a micro-society in the cave. They looked after one another. It was all for one and one for all. Even though that phrase doesn't exist in the Thai language, that's how they behaved. Then around them was a society of divers trying to rescue them, and a Thai society absolutely committed to getting them out. The second thing is, because they're Buddhists, they're naturally what I call short-term realists, long-term optimists. We all have to deal with adversity in our lives. And one of the first steps in trying to deal with adversity is accepting it's not going to be over tonight or tomorrow. So one has to find a way of getting through it with dignity and grace and compassion, but always hope and expect that one will get through.
Yeah.
What we've translated this into is to working in schools, promoting well-being among young people so they have a sense of society and so that they learn some of these skills of dealing with your emotions today, not making too much of them or too little of them, and expecting to get through it and be okay tomorrow.
So how did those boys behave in the cave? What is your research showing you about what they did or how they behaved that is so useful, you think, in what you want to do?
They didn't panic. They even treated it as a little bit of an adventure, and they looked after one another. And they weren't internally focused. They were thinking about one another and about their parents, and they weren't worrying about themselves. And for us, this is a lesson in how to cope with any short-term or long-term adversity, whether it's an illness or being stuck somewhere. You keep your dignity, you help other people, and you prepare for a better tomorrow.
And this is a plan to use this to teach children, young children of what age are you thinking?
Oh, we've got these wonderful well-being practitioners working in 5 schools, including 2 primary schools, 3 secondary schools. And I had the privilege of watching them at work on Monday. The wonderful thing is they're completely embedded in the schools. So mental health isn't something from outside. It's something that these pupils are learning every day, along with maths and rugby and everything else that you do, so that better psychological health becomes integrated into them from a very early stage. And we really hope that they'll all learn to cope with stress in a good way. We all have to learn to cope with stress, you know.
Can you teach, though?
Yes.
Can you teach mental resilience? Can you teach, people to try and avoid, getting caught up in this anxiety and the stress and the mental illness that is so prevalent now among young people?
Oh yes, so our well-being practitioners are helping young people notice that their feelings are building up, about to explode, and not to let it explode, to pull yourself back so that you don't let rip and don't let yourself down and don't upset other people. And we had a wonderful ring of confidence from the primary school where our practitioner said that the mother of one of the pupils, who happens to be in my field herself, I don't know personally, said, "Wow, you're making quite a difference to my child. She's talking quite a different way now when she comes home." So the children have picked it up really, really quickly. And the fun thing about this, compared to, say, work on your physical health like hypertension, it's actually good fun. They like it. It's not a chore. I watched the children working on it. They just had a lovely time figuring out what respect means.
How alarmed are you, though, about the prevalence and the increase, it seems, of mental illness or anxiety among young people?
I'm very, very alarmed, and for many years, I speak personally, I thought the right thing was more and more people like me. And of course we do need more people like me, so the people who need to see us can be seen quickly and with dignity and grace. But the answer definitely isn't only more and more psychiatrists and psychologists. The answer is try to help young people not need to come and see us in the first place. That is the truly compassionate prevention. And people in my field are increasingly persuaded we can't prevent depression or anorexia or anxiety. We don't know how to do that. The best thing to do is to equip young people from a really early age to cope with difficult experiences, to understand their emotions, and to know how to make themselves feel better. And it's not so hard to help them learn how to make themselves feel better. Looking after yourself, doing good, keeping yourself physically well, thinking about other people, taking a better time out.
Yeah. So what in your view is the cause of this increase in I mean, first of all, there is an increase.
There's a real increase.
So what is the cause of
it?
And
I don't think any of us really knows why. It's a bit too early to blame social media, frankly. What young people complain about is relentless competition and uncertainty about the future. And yes, society could reduce some of that so that students aren't measured only on grades, but actually on much wider aspects of how they function as individuals and in teams.
Yeah.
For example.
Well, it's fascinating, and I think it's very interesting what you're doing with these, the story of these schoolboys in Thailand. And thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
And I wish you luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mark, thank you.